Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And on today's episode, we are going to work on the slave cylinder, the clutch master, and tighten up some odds and ends to hopefully get the 500 horsepower Starion started. So, without further ado, let's dive in and see all of what we get done. All right, so as you can see, that one is no good, and we're going to replace it with this brand new unit. So first things first, we're going to take the bolt off of here, and then we're going to attach it to this guy. Then I'm going to hand bleed it, which will be pushing this diaphragm in and out. And then we should be ready to bolt it to the transmission. So let's get started. Here we go. Keep your copper ring. All right. And I'll take little rubber stopper out. Okay. This guy in the position. There we go. All right. Tighten this guy up. Good. Okay. Here we go. All right, so there's no fluid up top, so that's good. We're gonna bleed this guy. We should be good to go. And see if we have pedal pressure once we put some fluid in there, and take it from there. Okay. I gotta say, by the way this feels, the clutch master might be out. But we're gonna see. Let me get up top, make sure she's not running out of fluid, and we'll be back. Okay. Just put that where it goes. All right, make sure these threads are happy. It's very important. You don't want to cross thread anything. Okay. 14 millimeter. Okay, these bolts seem to be 15 millimeter. Interesting. All right, let me grab that 15 and take it from there. Okay, so these bolts are a scooch too long. So we're gonna take these guys out, and we are going to put in a shorter set. So you can see the difference here. So make sure she threads on happy, and then we take it from there. Perfect. All right, so that one threaded on happy. Take this next one off. All right, put in the next one. Now these our 14s. So we'll take our 15 off, pop our 14 on, give these a little spruce. Good. Good. Just a couple zips. Yep, good to go. Let me check it. All right, that's all the way down. It's in the right place. Perfect. All right, now you guys tell me. I'm gonna pump the clutch up top. You let me know if that actuator is working. Slave cylinder. All right. Well, that is a solid no, because the clutch master is dead. So, slave cylinder done, and moving on to the clutch master. Okay, so we're gonna do the clutch master. So you take the 212s out of there, which are right here and here. Then you take the 10 millimeter out of this guy right there. Then take the 10 millimeter and bolt it up over here just to hold it out of the way. Then you got a 12 millimeter right here, and there's one on the inside, but before you go to the inside, you got to take off this line, which is a 10 millimeter on the side. Then we go on the inside and start taking the rest out, which I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so in here, we are going to take loose this Carter pin right there, 12 millimeter bolt right there, and it should pop right out. All right, pull this bad boy out. This is your bolt for the inside, so this swings around. Make sure you don't lose that. And yep, we're ready to pull out the new one. We're gonna remove this guy, and we should be ready to load up the new one. Let's take a look at the new one now. Okay, so this is the unit we pulled out. All right, this is the new unit that you get. And as you can see, I have to adjust this guy to be the same angle as this guy. So, simple enough. Take a 10 millimeter, loosen it up, and then copy this angle, and then we're going to put the end piece on, and this can be adjusted inside the car, but it's kind of better to adjust it outside of the car. So we're gonna adjust it, and basically you could take this piece off, count your threads, and then copy it over here, or you can just adjust it in the car to give you the best clutch feel. So we're gonna go ahead and start working on this and pop it in the car. Okay, so I've actually decided to utilize the old unit because this one has a bigger hose piece. So I would actually have to change this hose to a different size, which won't match through and through. So it'll be bigger on one side, smaller on the other. This hose is in great shape, so we can let that go for another round. And then, since that's done, you want to make sure that this piece is 90 degrees from this piece. So, just like that, because this bolts up to the brake fluid reservoir. So, just line that up just like that. Tighten this up with the 10 millimeter, and we are ready to put the snub piece on the front and take it from there. Okay, so we got the new rod in, and basically before you tighten the lock nut, you want to put the Carter pin in there. you want to twist that gold rod counterclockwise to make sure there's no slop in the pedal. Okay, you see that? It's very immediate, so you want to take all of the slop out of the pedal. And then once that's achieved, then you go ahead and lock the lock nut. We're going to put in the 12 millimeter down there at the bottom. And we are done. We're going to fill up the fluid, and we're going to bleed the clutch system, and we should be good to go. Okay, clutch is bled. And now we have a nice stiff pedal. And yep, so if my calculations are correct, if I put this bad boy in gear, she should move forward. All right, so clutch master's all done. Now we're gonna connect the battery. We're going to take out the spark plugs, and we're gonna give it a crank, get the oil pressure up, take the turbo feed line off, and we're gonna see if she's ready to start. So hopefully we'll get that done today. Okay, I gotta hook up the ground wire to that side, and then I'll use a removable connector. But technically the battery is connected right now. We're gonna put it in the on position, make sure the fuel pump and everything is working the way it should be. All right, let's take a peek what we got. All right, we got lights. All right, I hear fuel pump. Yep, that's fuel pump. We're looking good. So far, so good. All right, first crank just to make sure everything is working. Here we go. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that off for right now. Now we should have spark. I'm gonna put some fresh gas in this car. Then we'll check the fuel system to make sure there's no leaks. And then we're gonna take the spark plugs out, gonna take the oil feed line out, and we're gonna take that and put it into the oil cap. And we're gonna make sure we crank it until we see oil come out of the feed line. Oil comes out of the feed line. Excuse me. That means that the engine is 100% primed. Then, technically, we could start it. So, not gonna jump too far ahead, but we're looking good. Okay, it became nighttime. Okay, so we went ahead and primed the engine. And the number one best way to prime the engine on a turbo vehicle is to take the feed line, put it in the oil cap, have someone crank it. When you see the oil start making a nice smooth stream out of the oil feed, you're good to go. So that was done and complete. And now we're gonna go ahead and start up the car. So we're gonna go to the store, get some gas, pop that in there. We're gonna check for fuel leaks. So we're gonna turn that sucker on, make sure there's no fuel leaks. And then from there, we're gonna give it a start. So yep, stay tuned. We're gonna get this sucker fired up for the first time. And then from there, we'll fix the radiator hose and we should be good to go. Okay, so I went ahead and put the gas in there. So now we are ready to put it in the on position. Okay, let's see what she's talking about and take it from there. Okay. And then, I don't know. Should we start it, guys? I don't know. I haven't plugged in the computer or anything. I wonder if it will start. Well, let's see. Let's check for fuel leaks or anything and take it from there. Okay, so. All right, pressure's up. All right at we got like 42 PSI roughly. Okay. All right, everything looks dry over there. Dry over here. No leaks, no leaks. Jeez, okay, well, let's see if it'll at least puff over at least and see what we got. All right, so we don't have a computer on here or anything. Let's just see if it'll kick over. We got oil pressure, no fuel leaks. We're looking pretty good. Let's see what we got. All right, so far no fire. Let's see what else we got. Okay, let's get some light on the subject. I seen on the computer the wrong plug was connected. All right, so now let's see what we got. Probably needs some new spark plug wires, but it did turn on. All right. All right, we're gonna give it a fire up again. A lot of hand juice burning off there, but she is alive. Okay, so now, clean off the lens. Okay, so now we are making sure the ignition timing is perfect. It seems to be off one tooth, which means in this position is maxed out at like 2 degrees before top dead center. And we want to make sure it's 10 degrees before top dead center, and then it should run smoother. Okay. So let's get to that. Never mind the hooligan-ness going on in the background. Okay. So now I adjusted the timing. Not running on all cylinders due to spark plug wires, but we'll get that fixed in a bit. That's much better. Of course, once we get it running on all four, it's going to be even better than that. Good news, spark plugs are in. So let's get to installing them. All right, so we got the coil wire. right? And then we got each cylinder right here. Number one thing people forget to do is lube your boots. Why? So when you remove these, it doesn't rip apart. It actually comes out nice and easy. So we're gonna lube this side, and we can lube the opposite side. So let's go ahead and put this together and see what we got. There we go. Now we're running on all four. You can tell because the engine's not so shaky. So give it a couple revs, make sure everything is 10 and 2. Take it from there. Oh yeah, she's in business. Woo! That's perfect. Clean, idle. Good back pressure. 3 inches all the way out. And last but not least, the hose, chopped up, modified, and ready to rock and roll. Of course, there's some little adjustments that need to be made, but that's pretty much where we're at, and that's gonna get her done. Now, since the thermostat housing is higher than the radiator, I'm gonna be filling it up from here to top up the last bit of area. So I'm gonna fill it up from here, then fill it up from here. Okay, and that is the finished product. It's all tight, ready to go. And that's gonna be perfect. All right, so we're gonna fill it up. We're gonna use water first just to make sure that there's no leaks. And then after the water, we'll go ahead and fill it up with coolant and we'll be good to go. So yep, that is the cooling system complete. And that should technically be it. Okay, so we filled up the overflow tank with water, cap that, then we're gonna finish everything up with this guy here. Till she's full, and we should be done. And we're gonna call it episode right there. It was getting a little long. Of course, there's some things that need to be ironed out, but I call that a huge success. The car is running on all 4 cylinders, and I am happy to announce that next episode, we should hopefully be doing some tuning and some driving and see, you know, kind of what goes on with the car, how it feels, the power delivery, what boost it's at, braking in the motor, a lot. So definitely remember, guys, knowledge is power, and I will see you next time.